brand new week for Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin on the daily chart approaching $70,000, but realistically approaching all-time high. This is all-time high back here in March 2024, around 7 to 8 months later. Here we are, Bitcoin around 6% or so from that all-time high area, entering a crazy resistance area. Before we dive into all of the analysis here, I just want to say something. Let's wait to see what happens when traditional markets open tomorrow. Let's kind of respect the volatility of these markets and also respect this insane multi-cycle, multi-year resistance that Bitcoin is within right now. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's talk about all of these markets. That includes crypto. I just wanted to kind of go over this post. Just a hunch, but we might be headed into the biggest bull market of all time. So as we start talking about short-term price analysis, I really want to zoom out. And with what Mike is saying there in that post, that is in play. The craziest, most bullish bull market of all time, because we are in a different season, a new era, an era in which none of us really have been in the crypto space when it comes to the demand that is happening with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin shock. This is total crypto market cap zoomed out. And one thing before we start diving into the short-term analysis of Bitcoin that I wanted to discuss as it relates to all of crypto is this. It's altcoin season. And it's this pattern that we have on the total crypto market cap chart. And you can just see this right here, not yet breaking out. Now, if we look at Bitcoin on its own daily chart, we know it has broken out of that consolidation that it's been in. But we go back to that total crypto market cap chart, it has not broken out. But you notice this area right here, that's altcoin season historically that I've been tracking on this YouTube channel. It's the speculative environment or time frame in which Bitcoin might start falling. And if Bitcoin starts falling on the dominance chart, we know this is altcoin season. So if we go to the total crypto market cap chart, it's right here. And if we look at this, if this chart breaks out to the upside, this could be the trigger that sends Bitcoin dominance finally falling. Could be the trigger that sends altcoins into altcoin season. And at the end of the video, we're going to talk about a couple of different altcoins. I want to look at the dog chart as well as the Cardano ADA chart, because these are just two really big holds of mine going into the bull cycle. But let's talk about short-term Bitcoin analysis. Here it is on the daily. Just as we start really zooming in on what's going on in this move, on the very zoomed in, that's what we're going to really talk about. Have this picture in your mind. This is the inverse head and shoulders. We're in this right shoulder setup. Note this neckline all the way up here in the $76,000, $77,000 area. So we start zooming in on the charts. Check it out. We still have a ways to go to get there. It's like up here, the neckline area is up here in that vicinity. That's the macro parabolic bull run, crazy target to the upside. We're looking into the 200s for Bitcoin. That's where that neckline is. It's up there. But we have a lot of resistance to contend with on the short term. If you look at this chart right now, we are around 6% away from all-time high for Bitcoin. But right now, we've been discussing just two main things, the all-time high area and then this upper trend line. What I think I talked about in last video I did for Bitcoin was the potential for a throwback. And right now, as we make our way into this entire area of resistance, 74,000, right now this upper trend line is right around 67,000. That whole area is going to be the biggest bull confirmation area for Bitcoin right now. And with that comes bear confirmation, comes resistance confirmation. So we're in it right now. We don't know how tomorrow is going to open. I really like to just, as we start the new week, I don't want to get too hyped with any type of green Sunday night. I like to see how do markets open tomorrow, and will Bitcoin be manipulated? Will it be affected? Because we could very easily be falling right back into this area throughout this week, starting tomorrow, right? So if that is the case, what's the trend line doing? Are we getting that throwback early, right? We always talk about breakouts and then throwbacks to the trend line. Are we getting the breakout early? Which would be, we're hardly even escaped the upper trend line here. So early would be like right now or tomorrow, right back to $67,000. And then what happens at that moment? That would be the first area of support for Bitcoin. Right now, to the upside, you can see Bitcoin still has not broken this previous swing high of the upper trend line. That's the first area within this entire area of resistance, because it's not just the upper trend line and then all-time high. It's this previous swing high at the upper trend line, right below 70,000. It's the one previous to that, right below 72,000. So we have like every $1,000 on the way up is big resistance, because look, even this one back here, right below 73,000. So every $1,000 up to all-time high is going to be resistance. It's going to be pretty exciting to watch how Bitcoin interacts with each $1,000, right? We've not even broken 70 yet. That's a very big, I think, mental area for people in general, because it's the 70s. Bitcoin's never been in the 80s. The 70s is as high as it's ever gone. So it's going to be fun to watch Bitcoin. What can it do this week? Can it get the power move to the upside? I had some fun with a little post on X, Bitcoin all-time highs this week, just because. It's not necessarily because I think it's going to happen, but it's because we all want it to happen. As we stare at these charts and we're zoomed in, we all want it to happen. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. This is what I'm going to be watching, though, going into tonight, into tomorrow, into the new week, is if we get some type of throwback, can we get support at that trend line, even if it's just like hobbling around that area, or are we really going to throw back to the moving averages? Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, would be very normal in my view. $64,000 at the 20, the 200s around 63,200, and then the 50s around 62. So that entire region, 62 to $64,000, is so in play for a throwback. So if we get the manipulation, if we get the crypto crash to the downside tomorrow, just be prepared for it, is all I'm saying. A move to 8 to 10% going into this week is possible. But remember, like 10, 11 days left of October, or as many people like to call it, Uptober, historically October being green. This could really be what really kicks off Bitcoin into the parabolic bull cycle. So want to cruise over and want to take a look at Dog real quick. Dog doing its own thing, making its move out of this inverse head and shoulders. Just wanted to note, because I'm tracking $1 billion target to the upside. One thing I just wanted to mention on Dog, I'm not going to take a lot of time on Dog or Cardano, is right here. I was looking at this chart. This is Doge in the last cycle. And I was looking at this chart, and this is when I think Dog is going to start being taken seriously, when it hits 2 billion. And I'm not saying it's going to happen in December. It could happen sooner. It could happen after. But I'm just saying, when Dog gets to 2 billion, I think that narrative that I'm waiting for, and that is Dog catching up to Doge and flipping Doge, that narrative will begin. And I think it's going to, on social media, it's going to have a viral effect. I think the headlines will start picking it up. Dog just needs that power boost. The tier 1 exchanges listing it. The narrative coming into play with it's the number 1 meme on Bitcoin with all that liquidity. I think $2 billion market cap. That's when it's going to start really being taken seriously. And then ADA. ADA, I just wanted to point something out on the ADA chart. This is Cardano ADA. Just look at this. Post Bitcoin halving, around 182 days on this measurement. Look when ADA broke back above the 20-week moving average last cycle to enter its bull run. It was around 182 days after the Bitcoin halving. And keep in mind, from all-time high at that moment, when it was making that move right to the 20-week moving average, it was down 91%. People were calling it just done. It's done. Right now, we're in the exact same scenario in the 20-week moving average. We're around 88% down. It will be so interesting to see what ADA does this week with this 20-week moving average, or ADA testing it right now. So we're going to see. I'm going to be tracking it. It's the biggest thing I'm watching on Cardano. 7 days left of this weekly candle. Let's track it. Let's see what happens. But all the while, everybody going to just really be keeping an eye on Bitcoin going into tomorrow. We get that break to the upside, 6% to all-time high. Every $1,000 is going to be fun to watch, or we're going to get the throwback. Those are the support areas I'm watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. Appreciate you cruising through. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.